After dropping Chemtrails Over the Country Club just a few months ago, Lana Del Rey is back with Blue Banisters, her 8th studio album. It was initially titled Rock Candy Sweet and was slated for a June and later July 4th release, and Lana would drop 3 tracks, the title track, Wildflower, Wildfire, and Textbook in May before delaying the album. We got one more single, Arcadia, the 4th single off the album, which dropped in September, and now we finally have the album itself. I'm just gonna say it outright, Blue Banisters is probably my second favorite Lana record, at least to me. It's a less cohesive but more intimate album than Chemtrails ever was, and I actually really did like Chemtrails. In my last review I mentioned I really did like it. I don't want to start any fights, but not having Jack Antonoff on this album makes it feel so much more adventurous. Longtime Lana stans will really appreciate how a good chunk of this album is made up of demos and songs that have been leaked over the years. If you haven't yet, you have to check out Lana's unreleased catalog. There are so many amazing tracks that have never been released before, and here we finally get Dealer, Living Legend, and Cherry Blossom, 3 of my favorite tracks. I also think that if you've been following Lana for a very long time, there's a lot of cool nods to her long history as an artist, even a sly reference to the Born to Die days in the interlude The Trio. But also there's a couple of new tracks in there that we've never heard before, so it's a rewarding mix of the old and new. It seems to be less of a larger story so much as a collection of moments and feelings that Lana has had throughout her life. For all the vintagey sounds Lana has, this album very much takes place in the modern age, from the reference of BLM on a shout out in Textbook to mentioning iPhone 11 on the closing ode to her younger sister Sweet Carolina. Lana has shifted so much from being a character to, well, using her music to capture living history. The title track continues her stream of consciousness storytelling that she really started and mastered around the time NFR and Chemtrails came out. Her message to listen to Arcadia, and presumably this whole record like we listen to video games, hints at her desire to really return to obscurity and the novelty of discovery, at least in terms of us listening to her music. Black Bathing Suit was really the first track to get me hooked onto this record. Much like White Dress, my favorite off Chemtrails, it's named after clothing and showcases Lana's experimentation both vocally and lyrically. The pre-chorus shift away from the verses to the chorus itself is truly stunning. Lana's voice fighting against a shifting instrumental, almost a metaphor for her fighting against the world. The outro being akin to a manic, euphoric revelation. I highly recommend this track. If You Lie Down With Me, an outtake some say was meant for ultraviolence, really evokes Let Me Love You Like a Woman, but is objectively more moving for me. The repetition of Lie makes that song. Beautiful evokes the cheesy sincerity of Lucky Ones, where you really just have to ignore how saccharine the words sound because she really means them through her vocal performance. Violets for Roses is a classic Lana song about a man who loved her for the wrong reasons. In this song, she likely means the fame and media attention she receives, alluded in the chorus. Violets are a significant flower for Lana and a reference to her poetry book. Dealer is a career highlight. Originally recorded for Chemtrails, it features Miles Kane and some of her most interesting vocals to date. I've never heard Lana yell on a track before, so it's truly haunting and moving. It's so cinematic, so specific, and so Lana. Thunder, a track lost to time, is a more conventional track for her, but the upbeat sound against a relationship doomed is always a fun contrast. Nectar of the Gods, a track fans believe was meant for ultraviolence, is yet another one of my favorites off this record because it draws back to Lana's fixation on the color blue. It's a really nice companion piece to the title track of NFR. I'm a sucker for a stripped-back production on a Lana track featuring guitar. The hits keep on coming with Living Legend, which is an ode to her friend, written near ultraviolence's era, and it's a welcome addition to the record, but it's Cherry Blossom that steals the show. This ultraviolence outtake with Rick Noel's production really gets me. Its bridge is amongst one of the best moments off this record. Closing out the album is an ode to her sister Sweet Carolina. It's the crypto forever fuck you Kevin line that's just so masterful to me. It's the capstone to a pretty intimate record about reclaiming your own narrative. For all the controversy that she's had over the last year, the occasional public snafus, Lana is still above and all one of the greatest modern-day American lyricists out there. Instead of responding and taking the simple bait and writing a revenge album, Blue Banisters is an ode to times long past and family and friends who have stuck by her throughout her entire journey. I solidly recommend this album. It is an 8.5 out of 10. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm so grateful for you guys, and I'm so grateful to my members, and honestly, I love talking about music. I've been back in the groove making videos for you guys. I will have a video out for Red Taylor's version and a couple of other things if you check out my schedule. As we come towards the end of the year, I will be making a bunch of videos on albums that I have missed and albums that I think are Grammy contenders, so look out for those, starting with Montero coming sometime very soon. Thanks again, guys.